Okay, we're going to pick back up on the 80 words a minute. Here we go. Ready, set, begin. The bill showed an excess of many times over what they'd thought it'd be. The lands and funds of the exiled chief were expropriated by the newest ruling group. Will the kids be exonerated from doing their chores today if they're good? She exclaimed in the tensest manner, "I will explode if these children don't stop exasperating me." The child's fever was exacerbated by the chill night air. The poem expounded on war and peace. They exulted over the results of the voters' poll. To be exculpated from blame or guilt means the same thing as being exonerated. The exact date it happened was never clear, but it was around 2/23/96. Exercise gives an exhilarating feeling, I've heard. After my bout with the flu, I felt exhilarated and went shopping for some new blue jeans and a few shirts. Where the boys had been excavating a gaping hole now exposed the cavern to the bright light. The shrewd leader exhorted his troops to fight their hardest and bravest. To exacerbate a person's feelings is the same thing as exasperating them. He paid his friend the exact sum of 72 cents. Haven't her clients been exculpated of the charges of fraud and theft? If it were going to happen, the murderer would have been executed by now. Okay, back down to 40 words a minute. So we will now work on control and accuracy at 40. Here we go. Deep breath. Ready, begin. His science teacher extrapolated that other beings may live in the great expanse of space. The students exchanged tips for the tough exam. She exhorted him to exterminate the roaches in the quickest manner. He became exasperated over their exaggerated claims. The lawyer asked that the gun she referred to earlier be marked as an exhibit. The car exploded after the high-speed chase. The king who reigned at that time was exalted as a god. We must always strive for excellence. Extruded steel beams were exposed on the tall building. The mouse exhaled the deepest sigh after the kitten left the room. The bill showed an excess of many times over what they thought it'd be. The lands and funds of the exiled chief were expropriated by the newest ruling group. Will the kids be exonerated from doing their chores today if they're good? She exclaimed in the tensest manner. I will explode if these children don't stop exasperating me. The child's fever was exacerbated by the chill night air. The poem expounded on war and peace. They exulted over the results of the voters' poll. To be exculpated from blame or guilt means the same thing as being exonerated. The exact date it happened was never clear, but it was around 2/23/96. Exercise gives an exhilarating feeling, I've heard. After my bout with the flu, I felt exhilarated and went shopping for some new blue jeans and a few shirts. Where the boys had been excavating a gaping hole now exposed the cavern to the bright light. The shrewd leader exhorted his troops to fight their hardest and bravest, to exacerbate a person's feelings is the same thing as exasperating them. He paid his friend the exact sum of 72 cents. Haven't her clients been exculpated of the charges of fraud and theft? If it were going to happen, the murderer would have been executed by now. Okay, let's just make sure that you got all of those EX words. Extra, of course, is extra. You've got excellence, KPEL. Then come back for lengths, XL, then lengths. Exalted, KPAULT. And then come back for D. Exalted. Extent, just like it sounds, extent. T-E-N-T, extent. Examine, they've got a brief here which is KPM, KP and then final M. You can also just stroke it out. Exhale, KP long AL. Exhorting, that's one that you can use the KP on the left. KPORT and one stroke. Exhort. Final G. Exhorting. Exude. KP long U DZ. Exudes. Exposed. Exposed. That's with a Z on posed. Excrete, just like it sounds. EX, come back for K long R, KR long ET. Excrete. Excise. It's another one you could use KP on the left. Can't do that in every case, just depending on what consonant is there. Excise is KP long IS. Excise. Expurgated. Expurgate. Ed. Final D. That's EXPUR. Gate. GAIT. And then D. Exchanged, just like it sounds, EX, then KH long ANG, come back for final D. Expresses is X, and then press with a double S, which would be PRESZ, come back for final S. Expresses. Exaggerate, KPAJ, and then RAIT, which is exaggerate. Exaggerate. Excellent. Got that one. Expanse. Expanse. EXPANS. There were a few that just jumped out in the reading that I did. I wanted to make sure that we went over those. That happens frequently when I will give you preview words, but they don't give you all of them because I want you to learn the pattern, which is expected. Experience, EX, and then P long ER, NS. Experience, it's 2 strokes. X, and then P long ER, NS. Accept, you can use the KP on that one because it's EX. C. So it's the way you write accept, as in except for this, it's KPEPT. KPEPT. Exposed, exposed is just like it sounds, exposed. Examiner, you're going to do examiner, KPAM for exam, and then ner, N-E-R, examiner, 2 strokes, KPAM, and then N-E-R, examiner. Exculpated, exculpated, just like it sounds. Exasperating, you can use the KPAS for exas, and then ER, bait-ing. So you've got KPAS on your first stroke, ER for your second stroke, bait, B-A-I-T, or B long A-T, and then final stroke G. Expropriated, again, just like it sounds, X-E-X, prop, rate, ed. Expectant, just like it sounds, expectant. Exhilarate, K-P-I-L for exil, then come back for rate, R-A-I-T. Extol is extol, 2 strokes, E-X, and then T-O-L. Excerpt, excerpt, like a short section of something. An excerpt is K-P-E-R-P-T, and then come back for final S for plural. Excerpts. Explorer, just like it sounds, explorer. Exam. Okay, I think that does it for our practice on the EX words, and I'll be stopping that video now, and we'll pick back up in a few minutes.